All right, so my son had a dream last night, and one thing the Lord does, He gave me visions. He gives me visions. The Lord says in the last days, I'll give old men dreams and young men visions, and vice versa. So, saying that, I was talking to him, and he said, "You know, Dad," because I had this dream. I said, "What happened?" He said, "Well, in the dream, as I'm dreaming, I saw you, and you were telling Mom something. She was smiling because you were telling her something real sweet." She said, "Oh, your daddy said the sweetest thing to me." He said, "A guy was giving me a ride to you guys' house. I don't know. I'll just come to your home." I said, "Well, what happened?" He says, "Well, as he was giving me a ride, all I remember, I knew it was a spiritual realm because I realized that when I looked at him the certain way, I knew I was in the spirit realm. So I told him, I said, listen, this is the spirit realm." And it's almost like he got disappointed that I knew. But as I'm saying that, all of a sudden he said, "I saw you with all the nieces and nephews. You got them all together. Then you got all of us together, and we're all together." He said, "But then all of a sudden, I saw a tornado going before us, a whirlwind. It was powerful, and it was tearing up everything. But then as I'm driving down the road, and we're riding down the road," he said, "all of a sudden I seen Yeshua on a red horse, and I knew it was him. He was riding, but he said he was riding real fast. He was riding real fast. But what he was doing was, as the storm was coming, he was leading us into the storm. And he said, 'Don't worry, you'll be protected.'" Folks, when you go to Revelation chapter 6, the scriptures say that there will be a red horse, a man on a red horse. It says it's symbolic of destruction coming on the earth. And this is what's going on right now. Now, when he saw that whirlwind, the Lord says, "I'm coming in what? I'm coming in the whirlwind." And then he said his son will protect those, you understand, who are out here in this world. So everything that was seen, everything that was done in that vision is symbolic of what's happening on this earth right now. And this is it's amazing to me that the Lord is giving my son all these visions this way, same as he's giving me. And my son hasn't eaten meat in 8 years, so I always tell him, I think your visions may be a little pure because, you eat like the ancestors did before we started eating meat. And so when he said that, I just thought about what's going on the earth. And we got to look right now. I had a young lady that I was looking at, and she said something very profound. Right now, our men on these podcasts, and they're beating the women down so much. And I think these guys are paid agents because all they're doing is bringing division. Folks, we got to stick together and know right now that there's going to be some major things hitting this earth. Not later, but they're coming now. I just saw another video showing that in Arkansas, they're decided that they're not even going to let China. They have 100 and some acres in their land, and they're going to basically take all of that away from them within the next couple of years, which I think is too long because they have seeds that they're planting. And these people are also part of the military over in China. So a lot of things that are going on this earth is being revealed right now. And what we got to understand is there's a division that they're trying to create between us. And they've always been doing this. Folks, listen, we have children being missing left and right. We have sickness that's been given to us in these hospitals left and right. We got all of these things that are directed at the Lord's children. But one thing with that dream that my son had, that vision that he had, is saying that through all of this, through the storm, through the pestilence, because when you read Revelation chapter 6, the one who rides the red horse, you'll learn something, that is bringing destruction on the earth. Now, if you go look at Israel and Palestine, you have all these Palestinians lining up. And I'm telling you right now, I do believe, as they said in Israel, that was their 9/11. Simply means is that it was staged by certain people inside of Israel. But what they did not understand is it's to their own destruction because these people are not the children of the Most High. And now that the world is realizing this, how do you send a bomb and bomb a church, a hospital? Who does that? So what I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of destruction on this earth, and it's going to start. America is the old land. We learned this and we know this. There's an Israel over here, but we also know that is our land too. The names on the planet have been made. When you go to one place, you may have one name, another place, another. We own land over there, and we also own all of the Americas. This is just the Lord gave us this because it's as numerous as the sands of the sea. That's why we own so much property. But the biblical prophecy has to play out over there. Damascus and Syria will be taken away. Gaza will be a ruinous heap. Israel will be taken off the map. Why? Because that land, the scriptures say there's bastards in Ashdod. Ashdod is a small town in Israel. And so those people got to leave that land. That's why 60% of them have skin cancer. They're not even from that land. Folks, there's destruction coming. Do you know America has a lot of sleeper cells? A lot of sleeper cells right here in America. You got UN people and all these people with weapons and all this stuff. You better gather your family. You better let them know that a lot of these sleeper cells will be activated when they say war. But what they do not know, what they do not understand are the ways of the Most High. When you go to Ezekiel chapter 34, then you go to Joel 3, and when you go through these scriptures, you'll learn something. You'll learn that the Lord is going to come gather his people and that he doesn't want us to be afraid. You see, all these other nations need to be afraid right now. Why? Because they've been doing so much dirt to the Lord's children, and now the whole world is going through a frenzy. The red horse is riding. When my son saw that vision of Yeshua going on the red horse, before him in the